my God, it's short for Discovery.
Anita, Marie, Annabelle, Clarice, Sarkeesian. This is our 5th episode. You got to bring more game. You got it. Oh, Lord.
Hello and welcome to Star Trek Discovery Recap FREQCast. I am Anita Sarkeesian, and I am joined by the wonderful and amazing Ebony Astor.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so before we dive into this week's episode called Lethe, I think. Lethe.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I did look it up, and apparently it's the Greek spirit of forgetfulness.
Yeah, wow. We are so awesome. We did our homework this week. I looked it up, too.
That is the one thing I looked up, so that's the extent of my research.
Yeah, so it means like oblivion, forgetfulness, or concealment. And then I guess in like contemporary Greek, it means truth. But whatever, who gives a shit? So before we dive into this episode that we can't name, Ebony would like to issue a correction.
Ebony did not want to issue this correction, but Anita strong-armed me from 600 miles away. Well, 300 miles away. Anyways, last week I tried to give a special shout-out for one particular listener out of our 3 listeners, and I called Lucius Malfoy Captain Michael something. I don't know, but
you
it turns out his
Bennett.
character...
You called him Michael
Bennett.
Yeah,
Bennett.
Yeah.
Right, but the character's name is actually Michael Britton. So again, basically, this entire podcast apparently is just going to be fan service for that one listener, but we just want you to know that we care about you, dude.
Someone wrote, I'm assuming it was that listener wrote in and was like, just, I didn't even know it was, I had to look up the correct name, but here you go. So I guess the guy, the actor played this character on Awake, which I'd never seen either,
right,
so I had no fucking idea.
Well, I think it ran for like a season, maybe not even a full season.
Yeah.
So I love that someone wrote in and they were like, this, Jason Isaacs will always be Michael Britton to me. That's a hardcore attachment.
It is. I also forgot, I recognize him from the OA, which I watched. There was a 1-season show on Netflix that was a little wonky, but he's like the creepy abducting assaulter guy. So he plays a lot of dickheads, apparently.
He's got that face and he's got that demeanor. He's good.
Yeah,
he seems like an awesome person in real life.
Does he?
I really appreciated him. Yeah, I really appreciated him.
Oh, that's right.
Just, not having it when, Sean Spicer was at the Emmys and, he posted on Instagram and was like, what the fuck? No, this person doesn't get to be redeemed.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
go ahead, Lucius Malfoy.
I know. I loved all the tweets that went out with that selfie that he took being like if Lucius Malfoy thinks you're a problem.
For real.
You got some issues, man.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so what did you think of this week's episode?
Again, was pretty pleased with it. In terms of keeping my interest, it was probably if last week was a 7, this week is probably about a 5.5, but certainly not the low of the, negative 23 that the first 2 episodes were.
Right.
So, I feel again, pretty vindicated in my decision to continue with this podcast. Granted, my job depended on it, so it's not like I had a chance. I had a choice.
I would fire you if you didn't do this podcast.
I
with
fully
me.
expected a pink slip if you were like, if you're not into this, you can't work with me. But no, I was pretty interested. I thought there was some interesting stuff that happened. None of the things that I wanted to happen did happen. Namely, Stamets still alive. Still a member of the crew.
Sure.
I feel like we could be working on that.
I suspect that he's not gonna die, and you're never gonna get your wish.
No, he's gonna become an even bigger member of my Sunday night experience. I'm really not okay with that. But whatever.
Yeah. So I think that we were talking last week about how the show is just beating us into submission in terms of forcing us to like it. I didn't hate this episode. I liked it better than last week's. And I think what's happening for me is it is not a good show. In the world of good shows, it is not good.
Yeah.
It has cheesy ass dialogue. It's just, it's the most contrived nonsense. But I think because we're doing this, we're sort of forced to keep watching it and keep engaging with it. And so we're seeing some threads come out. And in this episode, there's some interesting things happening, even though I'm
really? Name one. Name one interesting thing.
They run in the hallways.
See, you can't do it.
Okay.
I think we need to be strong. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying watching the show, but to characterize it as interesting, that's a bridge too far.
Okay, fine, whatever. But there is some backstory stuff that I found that gave me a little bit more insight into the characters, right? Like, one of our problems is that they haven't given us anything about the characters or to care about them in any way. And so, like, the fact that we're getting backstory on a bunch of different characters in this episode, I think resonated with me a little bit. Whether it was done well or not, at least it was there. It's giving me something to hold on to, at least. But best part of the show... Okay, not the best part.
The disco t-shirts?
The disco t-shirts!
I was like, I want one of those right now. I'm a merchandising sucker. Like, I'm the fool they see coming.
Dude,
the minute I saw them running in those, I was like, boom, sign me up.
Is there a story?
Triple extra large.
Is that, like, I don't understand. Like, I was like, what is going on?
I just think it's absurd that, first of all, does every ship have their own t-shirts? So, like, the Enterprise would say, like, enter or something? Not as interesting. Or did some, like, group of party people on the Discovery come up with the idea to have these t-shirts, and they were like, yo, I'm selling these out of my bunk, 10 space bucks. You want a Discovery t-shirt? I got you. Like, hustle, man. I was into it, and I was like, get me one of those. So I fully expect to have one for Christmas.
It's short for Discovery.
Anita, Marie, Annabelle, Clarice, Sarkeesian. This is our 5th episode. You got to bring more game. You got it. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God. I did not even notice that. Wow.
Bye. I'm signing off.
Oh, man. I wish the back said, like, very or something. Man.
Right?
That would have, okay. That makes so much more sense. I was like, what the fuck? Are there other shirts that say, like, punk on them? Like, are they just really into disco?
I bet they do.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Okay,
you know what? Let's put this in the podcast Hall of Fame. When we inevitably do our clip show of, like, greatest moments, that one's got to be in there.
Fair. I am notorious for not noticing these kinds of things, so this there'll be more. But okay, can we also, before we leave this scene, can we also talk about why they're running in the fucking hallways while people are trying to do their goddamn jobs?
Okay, listen, I don't like it when people are in my way when I'm on a running trail. If you're at my job, slowly jogging past, you're going to clock an elbow every lap. I was like, there's no way. And also, Michael Burnham, I get that you're slowly being like, like folded into the life of the ship, but maybe you want to still maintain a little bit of a low profile. I'm not sure that doing your morning run, on C deck is the best way to get people on your side.
But also, there's no gym. There's no, like, you could just build your fucking, what's the space called where you, like, where they were doing
like
the holodeck? The holodeck.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have a holodeck gym or a holodeck course?
Seriously.
Like, what the fuck? I don't, it's just, oh God, whatever. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
And it was obviously set up so that at the end she could run into Tilly running, like, so that they could have that little moment or whatever. It was kind of nice to see them bonding, though. I did like that. They're she's like helping. They're leaning on each other a lot more, and that was one of the nice things in this episode too. Is that, like, Michael is warming up to Tilly, and Tilly is like becoming a little more comfortable. That was cool.
Yeah, no, I continue to be just really pleased with the development of the Tilly Burnham relationship. I thought, I wasn't too jazzed about the juxtaposition of their scene, and then immediately we jump to an all-male scene, so it's Lorca and Tyler, and what are they doing? They're having, like, an action shot, the gunfight on the holodeck, like the simulation. Exactly. And I was like, I'm not too sure about that juxtaposition of, like what the two women are doing versus what the two guys are doing and what that represents. But yeah, I love Tilly, and I love that she got that moment at the end of the episode, like Saru in last week's episode, where she's like, I need to find my own path to leadership, my own path to command, and I appreciate your mentorship, and I will take what I can use from that. Yeah. But ultimately, I trust myself to know what's right, and I just thought that was a really powerful moment, so I liked that.
Yeah, I agree. I like that too. I think that so there's some like Lorca, I fucking hate him, and I know we're supposed to hate him.
Even though you got to see him without his shirt off in this episode.
Oh God, that was so painful.
It was awful. It was awful.
But like, so the thing, I think one of my biggest problems with the show, and maybe this, like, it's just so heavy-handed. Like, he says the same shit every fucking episode. Like, I'm a bad guy. War is the thing. We are at war.
Yeah.
I have to do all the things. You don't understand me. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, we get it. Yeah. Can we move on? Like, can we at least progress in your command and in what you're doing if we have to put up with your bullshit? So, like, you know, the Ash Tyler, who is from Seattle, which is appropriate because he looks like a fucking tech bro. Like, he acts like a goofy tech bro dude where he's like, yay.
Yeah.
Like,
I was really glad you got to see him, though. And I know that you're holding back because you were so happy to see him get more camera time this episode. And so for your sake, I was like, all right, I'm going to let it happen. But that guy continues to not be interesting. Even though I believe to my soul that dude is just Vok in disguise. Like, he's going to turn out to be a spy. And the show, you know, is trying to allay our fears by having him, you know, give his backstory. And then, Lorca kind of questions it. And then he's like, oh, no, I don't let just anybody on my ship. Yo, that dude, I will put money on it right now. 10 space bucks on the fact that Tyler is a mole. He's a spy.
There's definitely something, and we don't know what it is, but there's definitely something. So yeah. So in this scene, Lorca says, because Tyler pretends that he didn't do as well as the captain, and he says, "Don't apologize for excellence. I need someone I can trust, someone who understands war, what it takes to survive, what it takes to win. I think that's you." And I was like, ugh, this is way too fast. Like, Lorca, of all people, would not just trust some random dude because he looked up his record in the system, right? Like, Lorca, of everyone, knows that what's in the system, it does not equate who the person is and what they do, which is a big theme in this episode, right?
Right. No, for me, it was very much like Lorca deciding he needed a wartime consigliere. Like, it was a very, like, kind of Godfather moment. But in terms of Lorca lines, I think I wrote down maybe like 6. He got like 6 like patented quintessential Lorca lines in this episode. And so there was I need someone who knows what it takes to survive, someone who understands war. I swear to God, you know what it is? It's because we had that horrible bit of his backstory where he said, like, his family, they made fortune cookies. Dude speaks in fortune cookies, but like war fortune cookies. So it's like, in times of crisis, ignorance can be beneficial. Rules are for admirals. War doesn't provide too many opportunities for niceties. Fortune favors the bold. The dude speaks in aphorisms, but like the most cheesy, heavy-handed, red print aphorisms. I wanted the admiral to squish his fucking head. And then when they got busy, my spirit retired. Was awful, right? I was not ready.
You're like, oh, they're friends. Fuck, I know where this is going, right?
I didn't like it when they were just friends. Like, I liked it when she was giving him the business. I don't like anyone liking
and then
Lorca,
he like puts his hand on her knee, and I think I screamed out loud to my cat.
I did.
I can't. It was so gross. And then the next scene, you see them in bed together, and like, at least I appreciate that the scene ended with her being like, "You fucking lying son of a jerk."
Yeah.
Like, why? Yeah. Like, I know you're lying. I know you really well, and you're faking it for everybody. And so, clearly, when he sends her off to the mission, like, clearly we know that she's going to not come back, because how could the show possibly continue?
Right. Like, I felt bad because when she was like, when I get back, we're going to talk about you stepping down. And I was like, well, I guess you ain't coming back then.
Exactly,
because there's no way that's going to happen.
And I was like, is he going to blow up her ship or something? But no, like, it was just whatever. And then he took her, what was it, like a weapon or a teleportation device or some shit, right? Like, he took it, because that shot at the very end of his hip was like whatever he took off of her.
I thought it was part of her uniform. I didn't see what it was. So write us at Ebony Aster and tell us what we missed of the many things that I'm sure we missed this episode.
And I remember she was looking to find something to get out of there when she realized that they were being ambushed, and she didn't have it. So when they shot to his back pocket, I was like, oh, that's whatever the thing is she was
It was probably her inhaler.
Yes, that's probably.
I have to, of the two things, like, I couldn't even, I was left so despondent by the fact that they hooked up, that the two things that I was left with was, A, at least the admiral's age appropriate. Because,
Yep.
You know, a lot of times he would have been with some, and then corollary to that, at least they're not, I hope, setting up something with him and Burnham. Like, I really, like, the one or two things that I liked about Lorca in this episode, or rather, at least didn't hate, was his kind of like Papa Bear approach to Burnham, where he tells Tyler, like, you know, bring her back safely. If you're not going to bring her back,
God, I hated
don't
that.
come back at all.
I hated that. It was so
No, the only reason I liked
patronizing.
it is because I was like, you know, the kind of like paternal, you know, attitude means that at least we're not going to be set up down the road for them to be love interests, which I would kick a hole through my TV. For reals. For
okay,
reals.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see you kick a hole through a TV. For sure.
Yeah, well, I would do it on Snapchat, so
okay,
you'd be able to.
I mean, that's I can't.
I was reaching. This show gives me so little. I had
Yeah.
to reach, but you know,
I'm just saying
that's
that
what I
shit
was left with.
so annoying. That was just so paternalistic and annoying that I was like, oh, shut the fuck up. And the fact that like this mission, he's like, I'll send my best person, who's this guy that I've known for a week. Like, whatever.
Lorca doesn't make any good decisions, but also, why was Tilly on? Like, why was she chosen?
Because Michael asked for her.
Right, but the captain didn't have to say yes. Like, I just feel like,
also,
given what they were dealing with, you know, in terms of, like, the scientific needs, you know, the technical needs, the strategic needs, whatever.
You just wanted
I get
more
that,
Paul.
you know, because I was hoping that Stamets would go and then would get left in the Delta Quadrant or something. Like, just shoot that asshole out of an airlock. God, I hate him so much.
I know. Okay, can we talk Can we talk about how he was so weird in this episode in a way that I was like, why? So he used the words groovy, way cool, and noggin.
Noggin, yeah.
What happened? Like, literally, what happened?
Clearly something happened with that Ripper DNA that shuffled his spirit back in time to the 1940s. But I feel like the Stamets that we were introduced to at the beginning was like cold, emotionally distant. He was mean, he was salty, he was high-handed and sanctimonious. And now we have this like kind of, you know, loose, laid-back Stamets, which I equally hate. But clearly, like, the difference is stark, you know, in the depiction of his personality. So something went on when he got that tardigrade DNA, right? Like, you know, at the end of the last episode where we saw his reflection remain in the mirror.
So he
are we being set up to believe
retro
or
dude?
Is that
because he was talking to the captain strangely too?
I'm wondering if it's like, you know, two parts of his personality like split, you know, and one has like the mean Stamets, who if I had to choose, I would take mean bitchy Stamets over like grandpa talk Stamets. But like, are they split? I didn't know what was going on. But either way, whenever he's on the screen, I puke.
Sure, fair. He was he wasn't on very much this time. I love that they're like, build a mind meld augmentation thing, and they're like, okay, got it in like 2 seconds.
There's science jibber jabber. Like whenever they need to just like talk around the science of something, like Star Trek is still kisses my fingers. So good.
Yeah. Okay, so when I turned on the CBS app and saw that Sarek was the screen was the like title card thumbnail, I was like,
girl,
oh,
I almost shut it down. I almost faked sick. I almost was like, can't do it. James Frain, the actor who plays Sarek, he is a great character actor, but he skeeves me out so much, like almost as much as Lee Pace skeeves me out. There's something about him where I'm like, it's like robots whose programming wasn't tuned correctly. Like, I'm not entirely sure they're human. But anyways, I'm not into his depiction of Sarek. No slam on James Frain, who I think is a great actor, but I'm just not feeling this version of Sarek, and the chemistry between him and Amanda non-existent. Like one of the things that's been a through line, you know, throughout the various series is like Sarek and Amanda, you saw what it took and the allure of their relationship that would cause this guy from the Vulcan High Council to marry this human woman that was completely absent from this.
Yeah, and it took me a minute because I was like, oh, she's like, I didn't remember all
like,
of the
who
backstory.
is she?
So I was like, wait, why is she acting so emotional when she's and I was like, oh, she's not a Vulcan, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, there was an interest. Oh God, I hate this show because I'm almost like there's some interesting stuff happening there between like it's providing backstory of Burnham and like what happened to her and how she ended up in Starfleet and she was on this path and like the idea of like the history of the Vulcans trying to understand humans better or not understand humans better, like right, like the complications there. Like there's some interesting stuff happening, I think, but like when they first propel Burnham through like mind meld territory, and it's the duplicity of her. I was like, oh, give me a fucking break. Like, could you be any cheesier?
No, they couldn't be.
Clearly.
And I like that kind of high campiness is just a real callback for me to the original series. So I love it. Like, as ridiculous as it is, there's something about it that draws me in. It's so hyperbolic. It's so over the top. It's so ridiculous that I absolutely love it. But I have a question, while we're on Vulcan. No, seriously. I'm not like... When Sarek is dying, the fact that he thinks about Burnham, not Amanda, not his son Spock, but Burnham, like, I get that he's got this unresolved stuff in his past, but the dude's hundreds of years old. I'm sure he's got lots of unresolved shit in his past.
Maybe lots of unresolved children.
Like, yeah,
How many kids does this dude have?
Spock, for one. And if I was Spock, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, yo, Pops, on your deathbed, you think about this person who clearly is so unimportant to Federation history that we don't hear about her after this. So after the course of this show, we never hear, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible for people to, to retcon it, but it's not as if there's been a Michael Burnham story or, mythic figure in Star Trek lore before this. So what happens? Like, the person who ostensibly started this war and then was brought back into the fold, like, no one ever talks about her anymore?
Yeah, like, I think I'm willing to be a little more generous on this than you are. Like, they're coming up with a new concept for a new show, and they're setting it in this time, and like yeah, you're right. It doesn't, like, of course this character or this like mythological figure to some degree is going to be passed down of like she started this war, she was a mutineer, et cetera, and we never hear of her. But like that's kind of just I'm going to give them that. That's like what happens when you do this.
I'm not like
fine.
if someone went back in history and like if Paul Revere hadn't been invented, hadn't existed, and then suddenly there was like we still talk about Paul Revere. We would talk about the person who started the Federation Klingon War.
So would you rather you rather the show be about something totally different that has no bearing on the future?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Well, yeah,
definitely.
I mean, okay, I
but
know.
I realized but no, I just I take issue with the fact that this person who apparently instigated this galaxy-defining moment in history is apparently never spoken of again. Now, obviously, I get the logistics of why that couldn't happen because this is entirely new. But I just think, like, I don't understand why this wasn't, they didn't play this out,
Yeah.
The original series is supposed to take place 10 years after the events. Like, people would still be talking about Michael Burnham and what went on with the Klingon Federation War. Like, it's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I know.
I guess it's really, I feel like we're switching roles here because I'm like, I don't really care that much about that. Like, I think it's fine. It just is what it is at this point. And so I also hear you on why is Sarek going back to this moment, like, is the most painful moment of his life when he had to choose between his two kids? Like, maybe. Right. Like, it could be. And I buy it. I think they did I think it was adequate. I think it was adequate in that this show sucks. Like,
Put it on the poster.
Yeah. So, it was, It was fine. Like, it was a little bit, like, I was kind of cracking up when he's, like, fighting her and, like, pushing her away, and you're like, what are you fucking doing? What is happening? Why is this happening?
Right.
But also, I think that I'm where you were at last week, where I'm like, okay, whatever, we're here. Like, we're stuck with this bullshit, so, like, let's, like, lean into it as best we can. So, you know, so I appreciated the backstory about Burnham, and I appreciated that she's like, oh my god, whoa. The fucking last scene before the Klingons, where she's like, I have all these conflicting emotions. I feel love and hate and this and that. And fucking Tyler's like, and she goes, what is that? And he goes, it's being human. Like, could you have written a cheesier fucking...
Easier? No, you couldn't.
Holy shit. It was so stupid. It was the stupidest. And she is so smart. Yeah. There's no way that she would be that much of an idiot to be like, oh, wow, emotions. I've never had these before.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very, like, Data kind of moment, you know, but, like, a stupid version of Data, and I wasn't into it. Like, she remembers that she is human, and also, she's been on board a Starfleet vessel with other humans and other alien races. Exactly. So it's not like this is, you know, she just got dropped out of the Vulcan Science Academy, you know, on board the Discovery. Yeah. So, who knows?
And also, why is she opening up to fucking this rando dude?
Because that way he gets to deliver the line... You know, it's so human, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, dude, I know you're fucking Vulc with, you know, under space makeup. Fair. You're not fooling me. It's all going to come to a head, and I feel like we're getting a hint of that next week, even though the trailer suggests that the person that Lorca is like, you know, get him, is actually Harcourt Mudd, who I'm super excited is going to be back. But listen, I just know, I'm telling you, I will take any and all bets at Ebony Aster. Fucking Tyler is a spy. He's going to blow shit up from the inside. With any luck, Stamets will go down with the ship. I don't trust that that'll happen, but, you know, that's what I'm praying for.
I think next week's episode is going to be not a filler episode, but I don't think it's going to have a lot of story. Like, I feel, because it's a time loop episode, so I think that they're going to, like...
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, well, they're going to, like, do things with it, right? Like, they showed a shot, it looked like Burnham and Tyler kissing, and then they showed these other shots, and, like, so it's just looping, so all of this stuff is going to happen, and then it's going to resolve into...
Yeah, it's going to reset.
Yeah, so...
But maybe there's a timeline where Stamets dies. Don't take this from me. Oh my God,
you will be so happy. I will gift that for you and put it in our Slack, so every time you
Girl,
can just
I'll wear it on a t-shirt. Seriously. It'll become my avatar everywhere. You know what? I feel bad because there are people who've been writing in, like tweeting at me, and they're like, you know, hey, you know, like, we really dig the podcast, blah, 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 but, you know, I'm kind of worried because I like Stamets or I like Paul, and is that okay? No, it's not okay. I'm not here to absolve any of y'all, but, you know, I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but that dude is so...
All right.
Oh, God.
It's okay if you like him. We will just judge you for it. That's all. So, you know...
Well, you won't, because I know that you dig him.
I don't
you know?
dig him.
You love Stamets. Oh, my God. That guy.
I felt like there was some interesting character development that happened with him in one episode. That's all.
Girl, please. Please.
All right.
Hey, can we talk about the breakfast burritos?
Yeah, can we...
That was my favorite part of the episode.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Hold on. Where is it in my notes? Because the line that the replicator says is so weird. It says, two appetizing and nutrient-filled burritos.
Yeah.
First of all, when does the replicator ever fucking say that? And second of all, when the fuck did burritos become good for you? Like, they're delicious.
I don't know, but no, I felt validated. I was like, hey, it's the future, so clearly they got it right. I wanted to eat a breakfast burrito right then. It's science. It's healthy. But yeah, what was up with the replicator giving nutritional information? We've never heard that before, right? That's got to be fucking irritating and time consuming.
Right?
Or do you just set that up so that you can be like, hey, you know, I'm Burnham. I'm going to set the replicator control so that when I get something, I just need to have my choices validated. Like, you know, green tea is good for you. Why do you need the replicator to tell you?
Yeah.
That was bullshit.
It's super weird. And it's one of those things where it's like, but we're in the past. So why are you adding things to it? Like, maybe everyone thought it was really annoying, so by the time, like, the original series came around, they were like, yo, don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to give it that.
I absolutely believe that that's the case because it was incredibly annoying. But when I saw that breakfast burrito and they did look appetizing, I was like, yes, the choices I've been making in my life today, setting me up to be a bold space explorer in the future.
Clearly, burritos are the answer.
Yep.
All right.
Breakfast burritos and disco t-shirts.
Oh my God. Disco is short for Discovery. I can't believe I missed that. Oh, I'm such a moron. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, one, I would like to say that Twitter that has been oh my God, words. Thank you to everyone who sent me cat gifts because you actually did it and they were amazing and it was such a pleasure. So thank you. Feel free to send me other cute things like I like sloths and puppies and just cute furry little animals. So,
pictures of good food.
Oh yeah, food's good too. So yeah, thank you. I mean, that was really lovely, and it's been nice now that I have this new Twitter account, being able to talk to you all a little bit. So you can always hit me up at Anita Sarkeesian on Twitter and Ebony. I almost called you Ashley.
Oh boy.
Ebony's at Ebony Aster, and you can watch us, pick on each other live on Twitter.
Yeah. Are you trying to wrap this up?
No. Well, I was about to go into. I didn't mean to, but I was just going there. I wanted to bring up one thing. Or two things, sorry, that came out of Twitter. So one of our listeners, I think his name was Joe Black, or that was his Twitter name, sent in a video about like a conspiracy theory around Discovery. Did you watch the video?
I have not had time to watch that yet, but I want to watch it because I know that it deals with a fan theory that the other folks have been talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know about it because I didn't watch enough of DS9, but the theory is that I guess in DS9 there was like this super secret Section 8, like it's this branch of Starfleet, and so they think that Discovery is Section 8, and then they pull all of these threads together, including the little black comms badges in that they had or whatever, and so they have all these different things in the video. I was like, oh, interesting. And so I don't know any of it. I don't know if it's real at all, but fans are fun, and I like that they come up with this wacky shit.
I love it. Listen, I just spent like 2 straight hours reading someone's incredibly detailed like doctoral dissertation level research on costuming in The Prisoner. Anyone who's following me on Twitter knows that I'm currently rewatching The Prisoner. Anyways, fans are the best. When they put their massive nerd brains to figuring stuff out, you can't stop them. So yeah, this is a fan theory that am very interested in learning more about. So I am going to watch that video. Joe Black, thanks for sending it to us. I have not watched it yet, but I am going to. I've been trying to not read too much about what other people are saying about Star Trek. I'm definitely, not reading, listening to other podcasts about it, just because I want my reactions, to remain as unsullied as possible. Yeah. And I know that ultimately I'll just become a minor bird, for other folks if I read something really interesting about it. So unfortunately, our 3 listeners, you're just going to listen to me shoot from the hip every week.
I'm very sorry, dear listeners, that Ebony is Ebony. She's
listen,
she really is a lovely human, even though she pretends.
The 3 of you out there, you know who you are. I love you all dearly.
We got another question on Twitter. It was a person who's a native Portuguese speaker didn't understand why we were using the word actor for female performers. And and I think that's a really fair question because it's not super common. But I tend to, not speaking for Ebony, but I use the word actor because I think that it's really silly for us to gender that kind of discipline. So you don't say, so doctor, you wouldn't say doctoress for female doctors, right? I think it's just one actor and that you can be any gender being an actor. And so that I'm also I also believe that gendering Academy Awards and the Emmys and that sort of thing is really silly. I don't understand why we have best male actor and best female actor, for example.
Right.
So that's why it's a choice that I think some people make in terms of trying to degender our language.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's precisely why I do it as well.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that is a great question.
It is a very good question. So yeah, again, feel free to send us your questions or comments or things that you want us to consider at
corrections.
Corrections, yeah, definitely corrections. I'm sure there's lots of those. At Ebony Aster, at Anita Sarkeesian, at FemFreak. We are up on Stitcher and Google Play.
Hold on. I haven't done my Ebony hair report.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
All right.
I keep feeling
the hair
you
report.
heading towards then.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the song. You haven't done your song either. All right.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about. Anyways, okay. Ebony hair report for October 22nd. I saw an East Asian Vulcan. Loved it. The hair, very well done. We saw some gray-haired Vulcans. Again, very interesting. I saw a dude Vulcan who had a very high forehead, so I think he had male pattern baldness, which I don't think we've seen on Vulcans before. So again, very interesting in the hair report this week. But the most interesting thing was the throwback to Burnham's straight Vulcan hair, because that was straight mother of the church realness. That wig was ridiculous. And it looked like something I absolutely would have got into the salon to get circa 1994.
Wow.
So that's my hair report for the week.
Did you actually do that? Do you have pictures?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Let me slap him up on Twitter if I can find him. My prom picture is bananas. I will try and dig that up. And, I look like a Goomba, for real.
I can't wait to see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to do a song?
Star Trek. I didn't want to love you, but I do. Don't take off Captain Lorca's shirt anymore. He's an attractive dude, but I'm not into him being a love interest.
Sure, he's totally an attractive dude, but that was the grossest, creepiest, disturbed. Like, you're just like, ew, you're disgusting because you're evil and awful. So let's not do that. And also because I liked the Admiral.
Yeah, me too. You know,
so
I love Jason Isaacs. I love Lucius Malfoy, but I don't want to know about the people he's boning. Also, when Tilly was like, "Oh, Tyler is so hot," blah blah blah, I was like, "Oh, I liked it better when I thought she was queer." And then I was like, "Well, she's still, she could be bi," and I'm with that. But if they're trying to kind of straighten her out because she was getting real close to Burnham, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, and I also felt like. I'm curious to see what they do with Tilly, because I'm like, so as she's warming up, is she is her is the way that she engages with the world changing because she's becoming quote unquote a little more normal? I don't know what the word, the language that I'm trying to use here, but well,
she certainly seems to be more socially adept, but we only ever really see her interacting with Burnham. So, we need to see her in, other scenes and engaging with other people, but yeah, I mean she doesn't have that same level of the
awkwardness isn't quite
exactly
there, right?
exactly
So and I don't mean normal. I that was major air quotes. I didn't mean that in terms of that there is a normal or not normal, but just it seems like she's adapting to this space in a way that doesn't make sense for how they positioned her. So
yeah, exactly, because before, I mean, she was clearly set up to be neuroatypical, right? But now it's more like, oh, she's just kind of goofy.
Yeah, and she doesn't she maybe has a bit not quite as much of a filter, right? Which her being this guy's hot was supposed to be. Oh, she just says what she thinks, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyways, I love that we just got back into it when we were trying to wrap up.
Sorry. Do you want another song?
Yes.
No, I don't have another song in me.
Damn it. Are you sure?
Star Trek.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it. Thanks, everyone.
People, anybody out there who does audio editing, mix that, loop it, send it back.
Loop it into what?
Star Trek.
Okay, y'all. As I was trying to say 20 minutes ago, we're up on Stitcher and Google Play. iTunes is coming soon, and we have an RSS feed, so you can just plug that into your your podcast players or whatever you use to listen to podcasts. Thank you, everyone.
Whatever, Grandma.
I'm old. What can I say? All right, y'all. We will talk to you online and talk to you next week. Bye.
Yay! Bye.